Good afternoon, Facebook friends. I'm Amanda Teen with Optimum Ed,
Tom Leahy. Hi, everybody.
and we are all about planning for college and preparing for life, right?
Exactly.
So we all know it's March Madness, right?
Of course.
Everybody's paying
Everybody's
attention to
into that, right?
the
Yeah.
basketball
How's your brackets
games.
doing?
Yeah, my bracket is so busted up. My Tennessee Vols lost last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bad calls, some very bad calls. But
Yeah.
so the theme for what we're going to talk about today is kind of relates to March Madness because there's
Yes.
a lot of seniors that have some options in front of them right now about where to attend college. It can be a little maddening to try to figure out and make
Very
that
possible.
decision, right? So
Exactly.
let's talk about how are you going to decide which college to attend if you've been accepted to a couple of different ones and you have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be really hard
Right.
because if you've spent all that time researching, visiting, applying, and now you have to make a very important decision about where you're going to be next fall, right?
Right.
So it's a big decision. It can be maddening, but let's
Yes.
break it down,
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
break it down.
So obviously a very exciting time for high school seniors. You're receiving your acceptance letters and your offers of financial aid. You know, and if you haven't already accepted because of early decision or early action, then you're right there in the throes of trying to decide, you know, what the best school is of those that you're accepted at, you know, to attend. And how are you going to do that? I mean, hopefully in the process of visiting the schools and looking at the schools and determining where you're going to apply, there were certain things that kind of, you know, floated to the top, right, in terms of, you know, elements or things that you're going to use as a determining factor in making that decision.
Right, like what would be examples? Like the school culture,
Right,
you know,
that'd be
like
something
that.
about the campus
Mhm.
that you really like. There's something about the culture there, or support activities, or whatever,
size,
whatever that's really going to be a driving factor. Could be, you know, it could be simply the quality of the academic program that
right,
you're
yes.
wanting to pursue. You know, the prowess of the academic program. Is that going to be the driving factor, or is it going to be perhaps maybe it's cost?
Yeah, money is a huge factor, and that is definitely going to, I think, weigh in. It might be even a driving factor for a lot of decisions. Is let's weigh out, you know, all of the financial aid and all of the packages and what the schools are offering, and that plays a huge role, I think, in the decision.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Tom, because that's a huge part of it, I think.
Yeah. So I think for a majority of families, whether we like to believe it or not, you know, cost becomes a factor. And so once accepted, you're going to get an offer of financial aid. And that, and every school, every college, every university, you know, serves up that offer in a different way, in a different format. And so it's really important that we start looking at what we're being offered, that we're comparing apples to apples. And the only way to really do that is to, you know, take the information that they're giving in terms of the scholarships, grants, loans, work study, and for each school, and put it in the same format so that you know exactly what each school is offering, what type of award, and what the bottom line is. And I think it's even more important because what we're really looking at the end of the day is, you know, what is the family going to have to absorb in terms of cost after financial aid? I mean, that's what everybody should be focusing on, right? Here's what we're being offered. Here's the remainder. So, you know, the family's going to have to somehow pay this additional amount. You know?
Well, for a lot of families, it comes down to the monthly budget and what they can afford to pay on a monthly basis and that budget. And so that's why I think it's important to break down all of those financial aid packages so that you know exactly, you know, what you're looking at in terms of what they each have and what that monthly budget is going to look like. And so, Tom, you're actually doing that with a couple of the seniors that
already. Yes, it's part of what we. It's part of what we do, and you know, getting that number down to a monthly amount. Can the family absorb a certain amount of money in their budget each month? That's where to start, because we want, you know, and again, when we're looking at what's being offered have to understand that some of that is going to be loans, some of that's going to be debt. So you really need to understand what's being offered and what, you know, what it is. So not all of what's going to be offered is, in most cases, is going to be free. You know, not going to be a grant scholarship. There's going to be loan. There's going to be work study, which means that you got to work for that money before you get it. So you need to understand the complexion of all this stuff and how it impacts, you know, the financial situation. But at the end of the day, you know, where you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck is really, you know, the idea. And the only way to know that is to get it down to a figure that you can understand, and that, I think, is a monthly number. This is what we've got to absorb. Can you absorb that in the budget? That'd be great. That means no additional, you know, debt and that sort of thing. But if you can't, then we have to start looking at alternatives. You know, are we taking money out of investments? Are we borrowing against, dad's 401k? Don't do that. But, you know, that's always an option. You know, equity line on the home. You know, there's a number of ways. So many ways to do that.
I like to think of it as, you know, the different buckets. You've got this bucket of this money and this bucket of these loans and this bucket of this. And so you have to kind of break it all down, so to speak. And then what comes out at the bottom is what you have to pay, right?
Right, yeah.
So,
and, you know, and as far as what the family can pay on a regular basis, most schools have a payment plan that you can, you know, engage in. It's usually a 10-month period, so that you can spread that amount that you can afford out over 10 months and set that up, and then, you know, then look at, you know, the other items that you have available, the resources you have available, and there should be a prioritization of those things as well, which also on our website, as a matter of fact, there's a form that you can call up that actually gives you the opportunity to put that information in there and see what the results are. So, and
that's a great tool to use, definitely. I think what it comes down to is, you know, there's some subjective things in making the decision. You know, the culture of the school and the campus and the dorm, and, you know, just personal preferences. And then there's the financial driver of the whole thing. And then, you know, there's just the academics, which is, you know, the big reason that you're there, is the academics. So I think if you break it down, then it's less maddening. Right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And it's not, you know, it's not too late to, you know, to visit a school again if you need to really make that decision, because you really don't have to, you know, commit until May 1st, right? Right.
If you can get another visit in, highly recommend. I mean, that is, you know, a great thing to,
especially if you got two schools that you're, you know, and you're not sure which one is which. Maybe another visit will help make that determination.
Maybe that will seal the deal, right?
Right.
So
good.
Well, that is all we have, and appreciate you tuning in and listening. And hopefully your March Madness is not too maddening. But anyway, if you're still with your brackets and your teams are still in it, best of luck this weekend. Have a great one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.